Okay, I believe there's no question as such. So let's go ahead basically from the where we left in our last session. So here we are trying to understand what type of business results we can uh, collaborate, we can ascertain with the help of the scale agile. Just to revise, the scale agile we normally apply to a projects which are much longer in a normal project sense, more than a year plus, and where we normally have a resources more than 25-30 resources. So even two agile teams couldn't match up to the whole complexity of these developments. So wherever three or more teams are there, we normally go with the scale agile. And here we normally create uh, we normally try to understand scale agile with these three different bands. One is the actual team, so on the ground how we are working, what type of help we can get from scaled agile. Then we move to the program, where we'll try to understand what type of program level processes, policies can be made more efficient, made more lean in terms of cost management, and so on and so forth. So here we are looking for something like agile release train, ART, as they normally refer to. And this ART helps us to build the multi agile scrum teams releases in one, with something called DevOps adoption. And there we normally go with something like CI/CD, continuous integration, continuous delivery type of structure. And if we have more team, more than 5-6 team, then we might build a solution train, where multiple agile train can be combined together in a solution train, where we can basically execute the solution in a umbrella process, or umbrella parent processes, where we cover all this one and one agile scrum execution into an umbrella release train called solution release train. And that's how within program we get really great help in terms of bundling the product solution support services together in something called solution train. And that's how we normally adopt to these solution leadership practices, as well as the program management goes. And when it comes to portfolio management, here we normally talk about the business epics and architectural epics with the help of the Kanban distribution or Kanban prioritization. And we'll look at that today at in couple of slides basically. So Kanban helps us to have a better scenarios and priority across number of agile executions, across number of different agile executions. And that's how we normally build our scaled agile approaches more effectively, more efficiently at a given time, if we are doing any bigger project, right? Now let's try to understand how a scaled agile delivers business results. And this is what the kind of analysis we have done. This is what the kind of overall collaboration do help us in a long term. So here we are looking for increase in employee engagement, so that all the employee at the ground level, they have a better approach, or better what you can say, coordinated efforts in terms of all these ground level scrum master, which basically discuss in together as an um, in a portfolio or program level. And there we get better reach for each and every employment, each and every developer at a ground level, to coordinate with the local person, rather than going to the program manager or a project manager every time they have some challenges. So this way we are building a better satisfaction among work. And that's the one of the most prominent advantages we got whenever we started working with the scaled agile. And then faster time to market, because we have better employee engagement, the efficiency do increase. We normally try to shed the unwanted, try to lose the extra pound we have collected with the growth of these number of teams working together. So here we have understood like how to reply to the market changes, the flexibility, the collaboration of the world in a better scenario. And there we got uh, a good comparable increase, like 30 to 75% faster time to market. Again, this is a kind of sales slide from the scale agile um, consortium, where they are sharing us how the whole scale agile movement have improved in terms of North American and Canadian market, so that why we should adopt to the scaled agile. Here in productivity, again similar 20 to 50% increase in productivity because of better coordination, better roles inducted in the agile scrum rather than just sticking to the team, product owner, and scrum master kind of three types. Here we have also included like program manager, designers, architect, and so on and so forth. In terms of quality, there are a number of defect reduction up to 50% or 50% plus, because here we have a separate testing scrum execution also, where they can concentrate specifically on quality control efficiently, and that's why there's a bigger number of defect reduction in a scaled agile type of project methodology adoptions. With the multiple waterfall efforts, here nowadays even scaled agile, there are couple of executions based on waterfall, couple of execution on agile scrum, couple of executions on agile extreme, and so on and so forth. That's why here we can mediate with the different methodology adoption also. The waterfall options are least, but still there are some of the organizations which were looking for bundling many executions together in terms of, you might call it project management office, a kind of leadership team among these development teams, and there they have installed some efforts like having waterfall executions among the agile scrum execution as well. So here, if you're doing execution of, let's say, 6 7 projects in parallel, you might choose one of the projects as a waterfall project, and so on and so forth, where as we have discussed, the requirements are quite finalized, and you might adopt a kind of hybrid waterfall approach. So in between hybrid and agile scrum, you combine together and try to execute that project depending upon your adoption, depending upon the overall project methodology, SMEs guiding you in terms of how the project plan and all those things. So you normally do adopt waterfall methodology approach to one of the scale agile team as well. So with multiple waterfall efforts, third party integration, a hard regulatory mandate that made coordination and execution exceptionally difficult, Scale Agile provides the agility, visibility, and transparency needed to ensure that we could integrate with numerous other efforts to get predictable in our delivery and to ensure timelines that are made. Now, I would request you, I'll share the PPT after our training so that you can go to these, slides and try to understand what type of FAQ they have given and try to read it through, because here these FAQ are constantly updating. There are good number of people, even you can put your questions to these scaled agile framework team, where they might answer you in a day or a week time, and they are really good at that. And then they have certain additional training material as well. So if you go to scaledagile.com, and you can have a look at these link given below to understand how the training is planned by them. You can get certified with them also. Right now the certification costs are the least, so if you want to get certified in scale agile, it really helps you out. Is you got those scale agile icon to showcase on your profile, which gives you an added advantage of a preferred candidate. Okay, so try out these things, and I'm going to share the PPT with you after the session, and you could be able to do much better in a agile's scale agile project management methodology applications, implementation, certification as well. Any questions so far? Sorry, pardon me for that. Any questions on how do we achieve business results in scaled agile methodology? Again, I believe this is a new concept, and still it's evolving in terms of the scale agile framework, basically trying to put some more efforts in beautifying this methodology to achieve better efficiency. Okay, so if you have any question, please do write to me in WhatsApp as well, and I'll happy to answer them. Here let's talk about the estimation or overall efficiency calculation, right? Because even in agile scrum, we were looking at something like trying to do it better day by day in terms of how we can build this efficiency through and through, how we can progress it in a step-by-step progression manner. So let's try to understand the estimation on the overall efficiency, how we can build in the scale agile. Rather than driving into a detailed analysis exercise to determine the sizing or the costings, the focus when estimating in Agile is to determine the rough order of magnitude in terms of how many user stories, how many requirements you can churn to completion in a given time. And that's what we normally refer as a velocity. Agile is to determine a rough order of magnitude, size and scale of the requirement, and then determines one's speed or velocity. We normally refer it as a velocity. When we then use the velocity and the rough sizing to determine how quickly we are likely to achieve specific outcome continuously, measuring our progress and making adjustment as we proceed. So on an umbrella level, on a superficial layer, we try to gauge each and every Scrum execution by velocity, try to understand how many requirements we are getting completed in each and every sprint. So here every sprint, how much user stories, how much requirements we are completed, that's we normally referred as a velocity. So if you are executing 3-4 agile Scrum execution together, you might want to compare the velocity among themselves as well. And then to help out better, we might help the team which is kind of lagging behind, might be due to the requirement creeping, might be due to the scrum master leadership challenge or something like that. And then we can get the efficiency in terms of velocity per sprint helped out to go to a better level. And this is how we normally have in between the team as well, so that the least performing team can be the best performing team or get a support from us in an actual agile scrum execution. Yes, Chandi ma'am, please go ahead.
So like when we say like SFE versus the safe versus the scrum, it means like this in the team when we have this scrum master, like he or she, they have the like they are so my question is like, do they have the um scrum masters, like they have that scrum kind of that learning, or they have the scaled agile uh theory as well?
Yes, ma'am. We normally apply both in terms of agile scrum singular executions and the scaled agile evolve network also. So this way we get benefits of both. Like you have multiple scrum master with you where you are working with for a given team you have just one scrum master, but among scrum masters, like if you are doing in agile scaled agile way, there could be more than 3 scrum master working together. And this way we might get a better scrum master if we are doing bad in terms of our executions, and then this scrum master can guide you better in terms of better discipline, better adaptability to the given challenges, and so on and so forth. This thing happens practically as well. Yes, we get leverage of both in terms of singular scrum executions as well as the scale agile expert. On top of that, we also get help from something like program managers, the designers and architect as well, because here agile have been recognizing other roles as well. In terms of singular agile scrum executions, we just have 3 roles, and we're going to learn that thing in detail in product owner as well, where we have product owner, scrum master, and rest is just the development team. But in scaled agile, we categorize them further. We do have scrum master, product owner, and development team, but now we have quality control team as well, labeled separately. We have program manager also labeled separately. We have designers and architects also labeled separately, so that we can leverage help from these guys. Does that answer your question, ma'am?
Yes, sir. So it means like even like if the scrum master is following uh like even if he or she is a part of the safe team, then I mean they do follow. I mean, I was just confused between the scrum versus the safe term here, which is little in the last point. That is why that was my
Sure.
main.
Let me
Uh,
explain it. Yeah, ma'am. A
yeah.
scaled agile have multiple scrum team in between them. That's the overall,
Okay.
the basic idea of scaling up. So you are scaling an agile scrum execution with multiple agile scrum executions. So
Okay.
here we are working multiple team together, right? So don't get confused. It's just like growing up. So first,
Okay.
you attend age of 14 to 18, where we have teen, we are just struggling with our thoughts, what is right, what is wrong. Then we move to something like adulthood. There, we have good number of thought process evolved in terms of what I like, what I don't like, and so on and so forth. Like that, scaled agile think as a matured organization of a project management methodology in a kind of a one step ahead.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
don't get confused. And whenever we start working together, we'll understand in depth what type of processes have these your organizations where you are working for have been adopting, and then they
Sure.
will have similar templates and everything.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you. Yes, sir.
No problem, no problem. So for example, if you had a travel between London and Glasgow, Glasgow is a suburb of London, we would determine the overall distance between these two destinations, order of magnitude or kind of size. So believe you were traveling from New York to Boston. Think about that. Means I'm just kind of applying that example in North American cadre. One, we have determined your true average speed for a small leg of that journey. So whenever you're starting from, let's say, New York, being a crowded city, you start a bit of on a small leg or a kind of smaller magnitude, might be 40 miles an hour. So let's say if you're moving from, let's say, Manhattan and you want to go to Boston, you're driving, of course. So there, from Manhattan to actual, New York city, it takes almost hour and a half, and at an average speed of 30 miles per hour. Whenever you leave New York behind, you might increase your vehicle speed to around 65 miles per hour, as you know, it's allowed by the interstates, right? So this way, we first learn, there's a basically learning curve whenever we start any project management methodology to learn, to understand, and there we might spend some time in terms of our learning curve. But when we learn this thing, we can adopt all our policies and procedure in a progressive manner. And once we had determined your true average speed for a small leg of that journey, including the traffic breaks or breakdowns, we would be able to extrapolate. This is what we normally call as a trend analysis. How long it would take to complete the entire journey. This way, we determine the real world performance in a comparable environment and then use these to extrapolate an estimate of both cost and time. So here, after we learn these things, we can really achieve the efficiency of progressions, and that's how we normally try to understand. In the start, whenever you apply scale agile, you might be a bit slower, even slower than the agile scrum singular executions. But of course, whenever you learn these things, you learn the templatization, the processes, the policies, whom to retrieve the help from, and the whole 9 yard of it. You could clearly understand how I can build my efficiency better day by day, progressively, step by step. So here, this is how I basically um, try to understand how I can achieve the maximum efficiency. Let me play you a small video where we try to compare Agile Scrum versus Scrum planning. So it's like Scrum versus Safe. Okay, let me check out if I have that video with me. Oh, come on, give me a minute. Uh, here. Come on, give me a minute, please. Yes, it's a small 6 minute video. We will also get an idea execution. So this way, what we do to achieve our goal, we respect for people, respect for the teams working for us, and then we reduce the burden of documentation on them. And this is how Agile was a success, because on a superficial level, they say lesser documentation. Yes, they thrive for that, they increase that as well, but still you need to have some documentation as an auditory artifact as well. So then there was some different level challenges of haven't documented that those type of processes, so we don't know how to apply those and so on and so forth scenario. Then we have product development flow. Here what we are doing, we are trying to we are trying to achieve a development in parallel with a multiple team, right? So here we normally build a product project or solution development scenario or a flow separately than the normal flow we have in our agile scrum execution, where we normally don't talk about the superficial flow other than the complete backlog. Normally we refer it as a product backlog, project backlog, and so on and so forth. But here you normally, in the scale agile, we need to be aligned with the basic thought process. We need to be aligned with the overall main aim of this project solution support services. So we will have something called product development flow, and this is at a program management level. So at a program management level, we build a discipline, or what you can say, guiding lens for this development team to understand where we are heading to, is it the right direction or not. And then there's the adoption of Kaizen. Kaizen is one of the really great thought processes of East Asian countries, mostly Japan, Korea. They adopt this Kaizen. Kaizen is started with Japan as a basic project management, not project management methodology, but you can call it process methodologies. So Kaizen means improvement. You continuously improve. Again, it's a kind of different name to continuously improvement also, as we normally adopt in CMMI level 5. So Kaizen means continuous improvement. Moreover, it means continuing improvement in a personal life, home life, social life, and working life. So in Japanese culture, they normally segregate these four types of life you live in a given day. So you have your personal life, then you have your home life, then you have a social life and working life. If you look at these sets, this is what we have understood in terms of project management influence area. You can influence yourself up to a great extent, so that's a personal life. You can influence or your home buddies or family members or your team members. That's a kind of second level of influence. Then you have your social life, so your groups, your organizational colleagues, you can influence them a bit lesser. And in terms of working life, you can really uh, influence the client or the guys who are not interacting with you on day-to-day basis. You can't influence them much. So that's how we normally plan my continuous improvement in terms of how I can improve my process, how I can build better efficiency day by day. Here, Kaizens mean continuous improvement involving everyone: manager, workers, colleagues, client, your team members, you yourself, and so on and so forth. So here we are talking about how to influence everybody to achieve that goal. In Hindi, we say अगर सफल बनना है तो कायनात को साथ में लेना पड़ता है. ये कायनात in the sense all these people around us, the total environment around us, and that's how you can achieve the success with the best possible efforts in terms of influencing all these guys to get prepared for your success. And that's how the overall foundation of leadership, as they preach in the scaled agile thought processes. Does that make any sense to you? Again, this is more of a philosophical. Are they trying to depict how you can improve in terms of your goal, value, and efficiency in adoption of these three pillars? And that's how they have these, a kind of good-looking home with these three pillars, which are supporting you to lead to a goal or value. Any questions so far? No problem. Let's move on. Okay. Now here again, when we go on description of, or when we go on understanding this better day by day, here we are also talking about the sustainability, shortest lead time. So here we are looking for attaining the sustainability in the shortest lead time, because when you have all these three things aligned together, the people, the development flow, and the Kaizen together, this philosophical progression really leads to your goal in more effective manner, the best quality and value of the people and society. So here we are utilizing the best efficiency or best progressive work culture with these three as a pillars to my pillars, helping me to reach my goal: most customer delight, lowest cost, and high moral and safety as well. So these are the kind of what I can say, added advantage of choosing scaled agile adoption towards your goal. So here you have many people working or helping together with your goals in terms of getting the project success, getting the solution developed as early as possible, getting the deliveries done or as early as possible. On the right hand side, I have this is again a slide from scale agile network presentation on explaining scale agile goal value adoptions, so minimize delay handoffs and non value added activities as well. In terms of some of the great authors, they've shared their thought in terms of all we are doing is looking at the timeline from where the customer gives us an order to where we collect the cash. And we are reducing the timeline by reducing the non-value added waste. So here Mr. Taichi Ono is guiding us, like again as the agile scrum principle, we say no value add. We stick to whatever we committed and we do it with the maximum quality. No value add in the sense, if you are doing something like attendance management solution, do attendance management solution. Don't log into the parking management solution. Or if you want to do the parking management solution, have a separate project executed for that. So no value added waste, as Mr. Taichi clarifies here. We need to figure out a way to deliver software so fast that our customer don't have time to change their mind. This is given by Miss Mary Popnik. She was one of the US president advisor, and she have really explained it well or put it well in the least possible word. We have to deliver so quickly that the other party, the client, don't think of changing anything. Whatever they get, they'll adopt and then say, okay, now we want to change. Then we can basically charge them, we can basically bill them in terms of those changes after delivery. And this is one of the biggest strategy during 2015 type of years, and that's how the lean management helped us out in terms of adopting scale agile in a progressive way during those years. Most software problems will exhibit themselves as a delay. So whenever you delay something, the other party will have more time to think in terms of, am I doing right? What can I add to this? How can I make it better? If you deliver it early, if you deliver it proactively, you normally don't have such discussions, don't have such changes adopted to your sprint. That's why there was a thought process of having a 3 day sprint, which was really a quick sprint. Means in a day when you have 15 minutes as your daily scrum meet, it's a bit of larger percentage. But when you look at a 2 week sprint and you apply daily 15-minute sprint, it's like a lesser weightage on a daily schedule. And that's how we learned the 3 day sprint is too much quick turnaround. So we should go for a kind of a weekly sprint, or a 2 week sprint sounds really good to us. And that's how most of the scaled agile team, they normally adopt to a 2 week sprint, and some might adopt to the 1 week sprint as well. And this is how we progressively learning how to get the efficiencies in our development at maximum, how we can build or tune our processes much better in a step-by-step evolutionary manner. Does that make sense to you? Anybody have any questions? Again, this is all philosophical. So there are no customized templatization to this as well as of now. But here they are trying to guide us how the goal can be achieved in the most efficient way. Any questions so far? Okay, let me move forward. Please have a look at recording and then we can discuss further if you have any question. Please don't worry about, and please don't feel like, it's a confusing a bit, because it's a philosophical. This is more of, there's no practical templatization even as of today to adopt to these policies and procedure, but they guide you in terms of how you can build efficiency into scaled agile in a better and more, stringent way. Now here again they want to stress on respect for people. Here what we are trying to do, we are trying to analyze single pillar to achieve the goal efficiently in terms of leadership triangle. So here people develop individual and teams, they build the products. So whoever helping you out to build these teams, you normally help them to get trained on a particular skill set, so that whatever gap were there in terms of skills adopted or developed by an individual for your project has to be made more transparent, made more attainable, made more applicable to whatever you are developing in terms of your streams. So that's how you normally develop individuals better, rather than developing the documentation, the policies and processes. So you empower the teams continuously to improve. You train them, you tell them what are basically kind of better ways to achieve efficiencies, what are the better ways to do the task in a lesser time, what type of tools could we use. Could we use DevOps? In DevOps we have a set of 20 25 odd tools, and we normally choose a few of them to automate process. So even automation is also important in terms of respecting the people to do more work in a given day. Build partnership based on the trust and mutual respect. And this is what they are talking about. Every stakeholder, including your team member, your company colleagues, your organizational colleagues, and your client as well. So here they are talking about more discussions on how we can achieve it better rather than documentation. That's how the overall alignment of the progression or alignment of efficiency is being changing in terms of scaled agile way. Now, as we all know, people do all the work, because that's how we get the product solution support services built, right? Your customer is whoever consumes your work. So customer is a consumer in terms of he is looking forward to adapting to your new work culture, new product what we are giving to them. So don't trouble them, don't ask them too much question. Is this green better than that green and those things? They say no, whatever green they have chosen, apply it the quickest possible way, so that they don't get the time to change the green color. And this sharing a raw example with you. Don't overload them like people do in terms of agile scrum call. They just overload in terms of priority choosing or applying the priority to their different tasks or activities at a to be developed on that day. But don't overload your client with such question. First you prioritize your own priorities, own dependencies, and then go to the customer. Is this right or wrong? Customer says, yeah, this looks right to me. Okay, then go ahead, start development and something like that. So don't overload them with information or choices to be made by them. Don't make them wait. Again, this is one of the most important. If you make your customer wait, they might get a second thought on is this better or is that better kind of scenario. So don't make them wait. Try to have smaller chunks delivered to the customer on every day. Might be achieve something like twice two delivery in a day. Again, these are the thought process. Depending upon your current scenario on the ground, you might or might not be able to adopt this thing. But the way they are sharing this idea to achieve maximum efficiency, if you break the activities or a task to a smaller level, it's easier to achieve. That's why they say don't make the customer wait for deliveries. Don't impose wishful thinking. Don't force them to think too much in terms of, do you think this green is better than that green? No, whatever green they have given to it, just get it progress. Have you seen the idea mera wala green? One elderly lady walks to a wool shop carrying a capsicum in her hand. If you know capsicum itself have good number of different shades around the it's a vegetable or a fruit. Let's not go into that debate, but still, if you rotate the capsicum, you can see different color of green. Now this lady goes to a wool shop and say, this green I want. And the wool shopper basically gives her lots and lots of those shades and request her to choose. And this is the ad basically. So that's how, if you impose wishful thinking on them, they will have multiple choices and then they'll waste time in selecting one of them. Normally, this happens with the governmental department. If you let them choose the, let's say, if you can see even on the screen, the goal value is in a kind of orange color. And if you say people do all the work, it's also kind of other shade of orange. Okay, more moving towards the red type of color, but still we have these colors. So if you give them a wishful thinking or wishful choices, they might take some time and they might say, okay, let me discuss this thing with our team and then come back to you. And these things do happen in a real life, because product owner is just one person normally, and he is reporting to some really senior people who might have a different say in different colors. Or he might ask you to, you can first go ahead with the left orange, and then we can try to do it in the right orange also. So your work is increased, the efficiency is reduced because there is more work on table. Well, the client might pay it, but at the end of the day, is this what you want to do, to keep changing color rather than technologically advanced product, and so on and so forth? So that's why there's a statement: don't impose wishful thinking to the client, to the stakeholders. Don't force people to do wasteful work. And as you know, changing a color might take 2 or 3 minutes, and then you roll out the code to the production server, and so on and so forth. So this way, you know how much waste it can create to choose one color or other. Right now, you can do this cosmetics development whenever you complete your delivery, and you can keep doing these such works for weeks together as a part of your support services or warranty work as well. That's why it says, don't force people to do wasteful work. Equip your teams with the problem solving tools. And that's why we normally go ahead with the DevOps, with a set of 25-30 odd tools to be adopted for automation for a given project development, product development, or service development. For a long-term relationship based on trust, form a long-term relationship based on trust. So when you work with a client, let them think that you can make choices for them rather than they are making choices for themselves. And this way, you can build this product much quicker with a better understanding of what they need and how you can basically progress this further, get assumptions done on the basis of the questions to be asked to the client. Again, here we need to be really careful not to go wrong, because if you go wrong, there's a rework on your shoulder. That's why this is a kind of a two-way sword which we need to worry about. Form a long-term relationship based on trust, and we can proactively take assumptions. Don't assume, but build trust, and you can check with them in terms of at their leisure time as well. And that's how you can get all these approval and sanctions within a time to go ahead with that task ahead. And that's how we normally call collaboration is a key here. The better you can collaborate, the more you can collaborate, that's the better for answering whatever questions you have in terms of development. And this is what, again, everything for creating efficiency, achieving the goal or value in a best possible scenario in a progressive, continuously evolutionary manner. Does that make sense? Again, it's too much theory, I can clearly understand. This might bore you also, because there's no practical well, there are practical implications on a working level, but there's no standardization built into it. So as a project manager, this might sound like we are talking too much on just the efficiency level, but believe me, the efficiency of your project work, of your executions, do matter a lot whenever you have too many teams working in parallel. And that's why they've stressed on this point up to a great level, how you can achieve these efficiency at a ground level, at a project execution level, in a better applicability or better adoption way. Any questions so far on goal value, concentrating to people way of doing it?
No, sir.
You're good, right? Thank you. Let me move ahead. And then the Kaizen one. Now, the Kaizen one, as we just discussed, is one of the adoption of a East Asian thought processes, where Japanese have founded these, tools and techniques of a continuous improvement, improving in the late, or rather in early 19th century. That's what, I don't quote me for that, but I believe they started maturizing these Kaizen processes in early 1900, where they built some really good thought processes, how you can improve your life continuously. And this, we adopted these things to our project management methodology as well. The Kaizen recommends become relentless in reflection and continuous improvement as the enterprise has a value. Reflection in the sense, whatever process you adopt, is it reflecting your work? Am I getting the work with more efficiency, lesser cost, and so on and so forth? If yes, then we build on that. We are walking on the correct path. So we continuous improvement as an enterprise value. We preach this value to each and every team member, each and every employee of the organization, and that's how you can get the things done better in a most efficient way. How we can get the how we can get the things do better? A constant sense of a danger. So here you normally try to compare different project management methodology in terms of their efficiency. As we've seen in PMI PMP thought process also, there's a good thought process of comparing a project team with the other project team on a similar level, on a similar what I can say dependencies and similar dependencies or priorities, and then we can compare the efficiency. So we normally have this constant state of danger in terms of, am I doing bad than the my counterpart or something like that. So this way you can do better always, and believe me, these things do work in a real life as well. If you have a kind of constantly comparing with others in terms of similar timelines, you might excel yourself. Well, this is again a kind of older thought processes. Now they say, if you compare yourself and you try to improve it further, you can progress better. So there are another options to this as well. Small and steady improvements. Don't plan for strategic improvements 6 months down the line and all, but start with something like next date applicable type of improvements, and then you can improve, or you can basically showcase your improvement to the top management, to your counterparts as well. Consider data carefully, implement change rapidly. So we need to consider all these data points in terms of labeling efficiency, and then the more we can adapt to the change with a rapid movement, the more you can improve day by day. And that's why they say consider data carefully and implement change rapidly. Reflect at a milestone to identify and improve shortcomings. So whatever I deliver, that's my income, right? Like we've seen in earn value management. So whatever you earn after your delivery. So reflect at milestone to identify and improve your shortcomings more efficiently in terms of more deliveries, even they are short deliveries planned per day, and try to achieve those shortcomings, or moving clearly ahead in terms of these small steps. Use tools like retrospectives, root cause analysis, and value stream mapping in terms of achieving or calculating these efficiencies. Protect the knowledge based by the developing stable personal and careful succession team. So here, as we've seen, everybody is preaching to archive the knowledge, to collect the knowledge, to share the knowledge with others as well. So that's how the knowledge base, the knowledge archival systems are really a good thought process in today's project management world. Even in scaled agile, you archive the knowledge for yourself as well as the other team which are working in parallel with you. And this way, I'm learning even from my mistake and learning from the others' mistakes as well. And whoever does the best will try to basically replicate them in a progressive manner. Again, all philosophy. And yes, these are important whenever somebody whenever you're discussing in a group in terms of a senior project manager, and trying to share your thoughts in terms of how scale agile do benefit you in terms of such discussion points. Otherwise, I've never seen somebody asking a question on Kaizen in the interview, even in scaled agile as well. Okay, but yes, you should know these scenarios. You should know these approaches, how they have inculcated in the scaled agile manner. Any question for me at this moment?
No, sir.
Good, right? Yes. Let me go ahead again. There's a bit of shuffling of slide. So product development flow. how we can improve this product development flow. The principles given in scaled agile are: take an economic view. So first we think about which is a profitable way to do it, how we can actively manage queues, how to understand and exploit variability or to reduce variability overall, reduce the batch sizes in terms of reduce the delivery sizes, smaller deliveries are better, apply work in progress constraint. So what type of constraint we can apply? We take care of the alignment of the thought process in terms of what we are developing. Is it right for the project? Is it along the current progression, and so on and so forth. Control the flow under uncertainty. Credence and synchronization. Control the flow under uncertainty means if you are leading to an uncertainty, let's not go there. Take a step back, think it through. Am I right? Am I right? Am I rightly prioritized, or have I addressed the scenarios in much better in much better scope? And then choose those one. Improve synchronization with other team also. Credence talk about what you believe is a right. So if you believe that is right, and if you verified that, then you are confident. So you can work out efficiently. Let me share this book. This book is available free of cost on the internet. You can search, or let me know. I'll basically share this book with you. The Principle of Product Development Flow by Don Renston. Really, he explained the philosophy of product development in a new project, product management development in developed countries. Basically, get the feedback as fast as possible, decentralize the control, give power to everyone to make the project executions more efficient day by day. Okay. If you are a vivid reader, if you like reading, please read this book, The Principle of Product Development Flow, by this really great gentleman. Okay, and will give you a really good idea how this product development flow does help us out in terms of a day-to-day progression in a scaled agile way. Any questions so far on these?
No, sir.
Right, thank you. Now let's try to understand Kanban. Kanban is a thought process. This is also kind of East Asian thought process in terms of how can you categorize the progression. So you know that doing, done, board with the all sticky notes. Believe it or not, your co-worker didn't make that up. This is an old philosophy of East Asian countries where we categorize the progression in 3 different swim lanes, as they call it. So first is do, needs to be done. Second one is doing, in progression. And third one is done or closed matter, the delivery have been achieved. So these 3 swim lanes, we basically address all the progressive items and then try to measure the efficiencies. It's the Kanban method commonly used by the software development teams. Kanban is a way to help teams visualize the work that needs to get done with the available capacity of their team. So main addressal system here is the capacity, or overall how many persons do we have, how many hands do we have at a desk, and those many things we can do in a day, right? And so we normally get customized as per the hands available on a given day, or the developers available, or the team who is constructing something available on a given day. Kanban is a way to help teams visualize their work that needs to get done with the available capacity of their team. A Kanban board is a form of visual project management that allows you to plot out project and workflows using these columns and car. Let me show you a video where the person basically tries to showcase you the doing, done type of 3 swim lanes addressed in terms of the task at hand as of today. So we use this Kanban board in our Agile Scrum daily meeting, which is a kind of 15-minute meeting where we normally take the product backlog or take the sprint backlog on the left hand side. We have a middle stream lane. What are we going to do today? And we have the rightmost swim lane where we have something like whatever we have achieved today or yesterday. So that's kind of close item, often used with Scrum or Agile management. Scrum and Agile management, Kanban software is a great for agile teams that want to visualize project progress, reprioritize the task, activities, work item, and spot the roadblocks, spot the obstacles, and so on and so forth. Let me play this small video for you where we'll try to understand how this Kanban